Hi folks, Greeno here. Where am I today? Well, I am out and about. In fact, I'm in a motorway service station on the M5, a Sedgemoor services near Weston-super-Mare. Now, whenever we're doing travelling around the UK, we all need to stop, get some food along the way, don't we? The motorway services are quite often a bit of a letdown. But I've come to this one, it's a welcome break one. There's things like Burger King here, I can see a Starbucks, Subway. But I'm here, breakfast time, and they've got a place here that's called The Good Breakfast. Now, I like a good breakfast. Will this be a good breakfast? It remains to be seen. I'm going to get myself some food ordered, and we'll see what it's all about. Can I get one of your ultimate breakfast, please?
Are we okay to do an ultimate? Yeah.
Okay.
Ultimate breakfast.
Is it possible to add on some fried bread as well? Can we do that?
Yeah.
And a cup of tea as well, please.
Cup of tea. Anything else?
No, that is it. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Once you're ready, then my darling, on this one it'll be $13.86.
So my order isn't in the kitchen, as you will have heard then. What have I gone for? One ultimate breakfast, which I think comes with sausage, bacon, eggs, tomatoes, black pudding. I think it comes with mushrooms. I should have asked them to take them off really, shouldn't I? But there we are. There's hash brown in there and whatever. I've asked for a slice of fried bread as an additional extra. So the breakfast itself is £10.49. The fried bread is 99p as an extra. And a cup of tea, £2.39. That's just for a cup of tea. As you can see here, it is a cup. I've been given that one already. Those of you up north though, you'll be pleased to see, look, Yorkshire tea. So we'll try that in a second, see how it is. Nice and steaming hot. Not sure about the little milk sachets, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, I think my breakfast is on its way over now. I was right, my breakfast is here. Come in and take a closer look, folks. Brilliant, folks. What do you think of that first impressions? Let me know in the comments section down below what you reckon about this breakfast. Now, one thing I will note, this breakfast should have had black pudding on it. Apparently they don't have it today. So what they did to compensate was to put an extra sausage on there and an extra egg instead. I'll take that. It's a shame about the black pudding. I do like black pudding, but these things happen. Sachets of sauce here. I know some of you guys don't like the sachets very much, but I don't mind. At least you know it's the right brand, don't you? They're not putting cheaper stuff into a HP bottle. Brown sauce on a breakfast is my favourite. Brown sauce or red sauce, or no sauce. In fact, I saw someone the other day saying they quite like mustard on a cooked breakfast, which is interesting. What have we got on here? We have the fried bread. I paid extra for this fried bread. It looks to have just been deep fried. Not very good for you, but I bet it tastes all right. We've got the 2 eggs here, a big pile of beans, 3 sausages, normally you'd only get 2. It looks like I've got 3 rashers of bacon here, 2 hash browns, you know my opinion on hash browns. And we do have the mushrooms, which I forgot to ask it to get taken off. So, let's try one of them first, shall we? We'll do a mushroom. If they're here, we've got to try them, haven't we? Again, these look like they've been deep fried. Pick a reasonably small one. I don't mind the flavour of mushrooms, but it's the texture. The texture just does me. No, still can't get on with it. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove them from the plate. I have got some napkins kicking around somewhere that I picked up. There we go. So I'll just put them on a napkin, out of the way, because they're just going to ruin my breakfast otherwise. Okay, there we go, folks. The mushrooms have been removed. They were just here. A good portion of mushrooms, it has to be said. There's about a dozen button mushrooms there. Great if you like them. Eggs. Now, what do we reckon of these eggs? Let's take a little look at how that cuts. Now, that looks quite nicely cooked. Possibly a touch over. What about this one? Again, runny enough, but you've got quite a lot of hard yolk there. But they're not too bad, are they? Let's bring you back out to a wider shot and we'll try the rest of this breakfast. Here we go then. Let's try these eggs first then, shall we? Seeing as I've cut them open. Like I say, don't look too bad, do they? Possibly a little more cooked than I would like them, but I know a lot of people do like them this way. They're fine. Not too greasy. The yolk actually tastes pretty good. Not a bad egg, that. I think we'll just work our way around the plate, shall we? That means hash brown is next, actually. Let's pick the whole one up. There's 2 of them on here. Quite big, chunky ones. Again, just obviously deep fried. Will it be any good, though? I'm not a big fan of hash browns generally. It's not the best. Let me take some of the inside of it out. Now, with a hash brown, I quite like them if you've got a bit of texture to there, so it's kind of almost like chopped potato, finely diced potato in there, and a bit of onion. This is just basically like mash inside. No discernible onion flavour or anything like that. It's just a bit, yeah, it's just a bit mush, which is a bit of a shame. And the outside's crispy enough, but now let's move on to this bacon. Now I've got 3 slices of bacon on this plate, or 2.5 maybe by the looks of it. Let me know what you think about this. Okay. Bring it in a bit closer for you to see. There we go. Now, 2 things strike me about this right from the offset. Okay, I'm going to cut the fat off of here, or some of it. All of that, just fat. But look how it's cooked. It's not crisped up at all. It's just flabby fat on there. That's not appealing. It kind of looks like this bacon was kind of shown to a radiator rather than put into a frying pan. But let's give it a try, see how the taste is. I mean, in fairness, it's not the worst looking bit of bacon. Quite a nice thick piece. The flavour's okay. But with bacon, you need that extra bit of cookery, don't you? To crisp it up and really give that intensity of flavour. And that's just not had it. Bit of a shame. There's a lot of beans on this plate. A lot of beans taking up the middle ground. Probably about half a tin of beans, I would say. And we look decent enough. They are. The beans are not too mushy, but they're not like little bullets or anything. The sauce is reasonably thick. I think that's particularly important when you're having it like this on a fried breakfast. Otherwise, you've got like a really thin sauce. It just kind of goes all over the plate, doesn't it? Look at this. No, these are good. The highlight so far, I would say. Right, sausage time. So we've got 3 sausages on here. Normally it would only be 2. Like I said, they put an extra one on there for me because they didn't have the black pudding. Now, let me just grab one of these to show you. One without all the bean juice on it. Here it is. What do we think, folks? Well, you can see from here, it's just a regular catering sausage. It looks to have been oven cooked rather than fried, which is kind of interesting, seeing as they've obviously fried the fried bread in a deep fryer. Obviously fried the hash browns. A place like this, you'd think they might fry the sausages, but I mean, they're not too bad. A lot of catering sausages are kind of a bit like those Richmond sausages, aren't they? Where you cook them, but as you bite into them, they're kind of like just mush up a little bit. It's still reasonably meaty. Not the most amount of flavour. you're ever going to find in a sausage. And it's just a regular pork breakfast sausage. There's no herbs or seasoning or anything in there particularly. It's okay. It's okay. It's the kind of sausage you expect in a place like this. And I've had worse. Right. Fried bread time. And like I say, this just looks like it's been deep fried. Not cooked in a pan with all the bacon residue. Not that there'd be any from that bacon, because they haven't cooked it long enough. But it's very crispy. But because it's been deep fried rather than just fried in a pan, it's taken on a lot of oil. And you can see that right through the cross section of the fried bread there. The oil has soaked all the way through into it. When I make fried bread at home, you have the pan that you've cooked the bacon in, and you put the fried bread into there. So it does obviously absorbs whatever oil is in the pan, but the inside of it doesn't get full of oil. It's not the worst thing I've ever eaten, but I don't think I'd want to eat a whole slice of it. Tea. We've not tried the tea yet, have we? Not a bad brew. The milk came in little sachets as well, a bit like the sauce. Not those little, like the little Milkmaid or whatever, the little tiny little cartons of UHT. It is actually proper semi-skim milk in there. And it's not a bad brew. $2.39 for 1 cup of it though. That'll have some of you, some of you moaning that it's a little bit expensive, won't it? I would agree. So, anyway, I'm going to finish a bit more of this up. I've got to say, it's very much a mixed bag, isn't it? And kind of indicative of what kind of food we get at Motorway Services around the country. Unless you go to T-Bay or Gloucester, one of those kind of farm shop type ones. This is pretty much standard British Motorway service station fare, isn't it? It will keep you going on a drive. But, yeah, you wouldn't want to you wouldn't want to come here on a date. Right. I'll eat a bit more of this up and we'll talk about it a bit more afterwards. Right then, folks. It's raining outside, so I've had to come back into the car to finish this up. There wasn't anywhere sort of appropriate inside, too many people about really. Sedgemoor Services here on the M5 near Weston-super-Mare, the good breakfast. What do I think about it? I think they need to change the name. I mean, passable breakfast maybe is a more accurate description. Let's look at what we've paid. £10.49 for that ultimate breakfast. 99 pence for the add-on of the fried bread and £2.39 for a cup of tea. Now, we'll start with some positives. The actual area where you sit to eat was spotlessly clean. There was a guy going around cleaning tables continually, and, you know, I think it's one of the cleanest Motorway services I've been in. That's really good. Some of them are pretty grim, aren't they? The girls working behind the counter of the good breakfast, really, really friendly, really helpful. Brought my breakfast over, went back and got some sauces, because me being me, I'd forgotten to pick any up. It wasn't too much trouble for them. So I really, really liked that. The service was good. The breakfast, well, a couple of highs, several lows. I think if I was to pick out the two best things on there, the fried eggs, which I think were probably a little over for my taste, but weren't too bad, and the baked beans. The baked beans were actually delicious. They were really good. Everything else on there, a little bit of a letdown. The breakfast didn't have the black pudding it should have done. I wish it had, because they swapped it for an egg and a sausage, and the sausages weren't great. I mean, they weren't the worst sausages I've had, it has to be said, but they're just catering ones, just not the lowest of the low catering ones. The bacon, again, I mean, that bacon had some potential. It was a bit fatty, but if they cooked it properly and crisped that fat up, given a bit more depth of flavour into the slice of bacon, it would have been okay. It was quite a nice thick slice of bacon. But it just wasn't cooked enough. Wasn't cooked enough. There's no way you could eat the fat on that bacon at all. It wasn't even coloured. It was still white. Yeah, that's not great. That is not great. The hash browns, terrible. Terrible. Now, again, that's not the fault of the people cooking them because they can only work with what they've got there. The actual cookery on it was fine. It was fried, crispy on the outside, but it was just a bad hash brown. Just like mashed potato in the middle. No texture to it, no real flavour. Rubbish. Rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. Mushrooms I won't pass comment on too much. They were just deep fried button mushrooms. I'm never going to like them, am I? So it's not fair to sort of add them into the mix. What else did we have on there? The fried slice, the fried bread. Yeah, that was a disappointment too. Deep fried, so it's soaked in so much oil. It obviously been left long enough in there to go crispy, but it was just so, yeah, you could just feel your arteries clogging as you ate it. I like fried bread. It's a real treat when it's done properly. In the pan where the bacon's been cooking, you get those nice little bacony flavours of the oil soaking in. You don't just want, you know, a slice of bread chucked in where the chips are cooked. That's not great. So, overall I paid £13.87. Now, is that outrageous for a motorway service station breakfast? Bearing in mind, it was quite a big breakfast, wasn't it? I mean, they did have smaller ones available. I don't think the price is outrageous. I really don't think it's outrageous. I'm sure there are services around the country that are charging more for a similar kind of thing. I just don't think the quality's there. It just isn't. So, how am I going to score this? It's a tricky one. Like I say, too much of the food wasn't up to muster. That's the problem I've got. But as motorway services go, the service was great and the environment was clean and tidy. So I'm going to factor that in a little bit. But I still don't think it's any more than a 2.5 out of 5. It's filled a hole, and that's kind of what you want when you're on a drive. Yeah, but I just don't think it was good enough. I think there are things there that could and should have been done better. Yeah, 2.5 out of 5 is fair. Now, obviously, getting a score like that, it doesn't get a green light. So we're looking, is it an amber light or a red light? Amber light or red light? I don't think it's a red light, to be honest. I think there are enough things there that are okay for it to get into the amber light territory. I think there are. Right then, folks, if you've enjoyed this review of the somewhat misnamed Good Breakfast here at Sedgemoor Services on the M5, then don't forget, click a thumbs up on there for me. It does help with the channel. And if you've enjoyed this video, there's a whole playlist of breakfasts, you know, from the sublime to the ridiculous, admittedly. So take a little look through there and see what else you enjoy. If you do enjoy the content, why not subscribe, ding your bell for notifications, all that good stuff that us YouTubers love you to do. Right, where to next? Well, I'm in the car, so I'm off somewhere, aren't I? You'll find out where on the next video. I'll see you then.